planned videos or anything like that, just because I haven't even posted anything. I was posting a lot of stuff on TikTok, and it's just not the right channel. I don't know. But anyway, so my new thought process. So we were having employees, and I talked about this in the other live. So if you haven't seen it, that's why I'm kind of talking about it. It's in my head right now, so that's why I'm talking about it. So what's going on is we've been having some issues within the company, and it's easy to just get upset and pissed off and be like, you know what, if you're not going to do your fucking job, like you just need to go. But the more and more we're looking at is two things that are coming to mind. One, like this business, the way that I've been building it is to grow it to a, in multiples of like what we currently do. And if basically the employees and the people that I'm putting in place, if they're not going to do what they need to do, then the simple answer is I can get pissed off and like try to keep on making this work and work and work. Or I can just go back to how it was like 5 years ago when it's literally just me, my wife, and one other person, right? And what would end up happening is one, there's just less issues, which there's not even a lot of issues now. It's just stupid shit that's going on. And then the other thing is we can do a lot less work and make just as much profit, right? Because right now we're on the hook for a lot of money per month, just because between the warehouse, all the employees, the advertising, everything else. I could literally shut down the advertising. That would save me $5,000 a month. At this point, I could get rid of the warehouse. That's another $5,000 a month, right? Sales trainer, like I could literally clear out probably like $20,000, $30,000 a month, and then that doesn't even include the employees on top of it, right? So we could do that. Now that means I'm gonna have to go back to work, right? And do I want to do that? No, not really. But if I have to, I will. Um, and the other thought process that's really changed in recently is that it's not my job to tell you exactly what to do day in and day out. It's like, okay, this is your job, and I want you to do this and this and this and this and this, and have like a checklist of like 20 different things. It's my job to kind of show you what the overall vision is for the company or for that position. Well, I guess both, really. And then it's up to the person to basically own that role and make it their own. So I had this conversation because we're starting this new division, and I said, "Look, guys, like if this keeps on happening, like I can't afford for to keep on running this business. Like we're just gonna have to shut it down, and that means that you're not gonna be able to do this work anymore, right?" So it's just having that same conversation with the people. It's like, look, this is what we're bringing you in for. This is the vision. If this doesn't end up working out because you're just not doing what you need to do, and like we have to keep on double checking on you and everything else, then I don't feel as though that we should be putting out all this money, right? And what I can do is I can scale this way back instead of having like 7, 8 employees. Well, we're going to go down to like three, right? And hopefully it works. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. So expect a video in the next few weeks or months or whatever happens to be of basically what the results are. And but yeah, that's really about it at this point. Really trying to get into a better headspace. With summer coming and everything else, it's now June. I don't even know. June 4th. Um, it's realizing that we could have a lot more, like less stress, everything else. So we go through these stages in life, and it's like you think you're all gung-ho and you're going to be doing this one thing, and then a lot of times you don't want to stop from doing that because you feel as though you failed at it. And even for us, like I've built this whole channel and everything that I've talked about as far as like how to grow your team so that way you don't have to work, right? And then but then we're also finding like caveats to this stuff where it wasn't running as well as it should be. Like the owner has to be involved, until there's a CEO, you have to be involved, like your owner CEO. And, that was one of the biggest downfalls of the company so far. Like that's what's really held back the growth and everything else is that I wasn't doing my job as the owner. I did have my wife that would run the day-to-day operations, but that's basically like she's like a super manager, right? And that doesn't you still need someone to hold everyone accountable. You still need someone to show that vision, so people have something to work towards. Because like if you're just a job, like they're just going to do the bare minimum, and like who the hell wants that, right? I'd rather build a team that everyone's working towards a common goal. Everyone enjoys what they're doing, and they're excelling at what they do and that kind of thing. So that's what is changing for us. Not that the stuff that I've talked about in the past doesn't work. It does. It has for me. But again, like I talked about in the other live, it's getting away from like, this is how you should run your business. This is how you should do this. If you're struggling with this, do this. To more of like, hey, like this is what we're working on. This is what we're going through. This is what my thought process was, and I'm realizing that it was not the best thought process. And this is what we're gonna do. And then, test the results and come back in a few weeks, few months, whatever it happens to be, and then say, okay, this is what worked, what didn't work for me, right? And then from there, you can take that information and go from there. So that's where we're kind of at. As far as software, because I've talked heavily into that kind of stuff, some people have asked, as far as the kitchen sink program, like honestly, the developer is taking forever. So that's definitely not going to be happening anytime soon. I do have a program coming out that basically for guys that do fencing, it's combining. So if you're doing GPS, if you're doing, satellite, if you're in person, or if you're doing surveys, basically it's going to be able to handle all your pricing for you, right? It's going to figure out how many posts, how many panels. I'll have to get it, like right now I'm just building it for my company. So we will down the line get it to where it's like how many pickets, how many rails, that kind of thing, but we're not doing that quite yet. But no matter where you are, whether you're in an office, whether it's a customer's property, or whether they handed you a survey, it's literally going to tell you panels, posts, gates, how much your material cost is, how much your labor cost is going to be, how much you need to charge your customer, what your profit's going to be. So pretty cool. So it's something we've been working on for a while now. But like anything else, it's like you hire someone and you think they're going to do great, and they start off really strong, and then they like less and less work gets done. So I brought in another person. So far, everything's been going pretty well. They build out the database, which is the main thing, and now it's just connecting like the database to the GPS program for right now. And then once that's up and running, then we're basically taking GPS, connect it with the drawing program, and then finally the database with the survey. So that's where we're kind of at this point. I'm trying to think what else. I have another thing that it keeps on coming into my head. So it's something that's going to help. It's going to help owners. It's going to help subs, and it's going to help employees, which is pretty cool. So I think I really have to get someone to build that for me. I think it would be super helpful. Probably the only reason why I haven't specifically done it right now is because I have the subs, I have the employees I need. If I didn't, then I would probably have built this quicker. But that's something that's going to be coming in the near future, hopefully, next few months. And so that should be pretty cool. So anyway, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.